About 4:45 and take a look at this viral video from La Junta in southeastern Colorado. All right, Vivian Gomez wrote on Facebook that her security camera captured this on Sunday morning. There are people on Facebook who say it looks like Dobby from Harry Potter, or a ghost or an alien, or a kid in flip-flops and underwear. We think it looks like Lisa doing her Sunday morning dance. I don't know, Lisa, are you?
The Fermi paradox is the discrepancy between the lack of conclusive evidence of advanced extraterrestrial life and the apparently high likelihood of its existence. The paradox is named after physicist Enrico Fermi, who informally posed the question, remembered by Emil Konopinski as "But where is everybody?" during a 1950 conversation at Los Alamos with colleagues Konopinski, Edward Teller, and Herbert York. The paradox first appeared in print in a 1963 paper by Carl Sagan, and the paradox has since been fully characterized by scientists. Early formulations of the paradox have also been identified in writings by Bernard Le Bovier de Fontenelle, 1686, and Jules Verne, 1865, and by Soviet rocket scientist Konstantin Tsiolkovsky, 1933. There have been many attempts to resolve the Fermi paradox, such as suggesting that intelligent extraterrestrial beings are extremely rare, that the lifetime of such civilizations is short, or that they exist but, for various reasons, humans see no evidence. Some of the facts and hypotheses that together serve to highlight the apparent contradiction. There are billions of stars in the Milky Way similar to the Sun. With high probability, some of these stars have Earth-like planets orbiting in the habitable zone. Many of these stars, and hence their planets, are much older than the Sun. If Earth-like planets are typical, some may have developed intelligent life long ago. Some of these civilizations may have developed interstellar travel, a step that humans are investigating. Even at the slow pace of envisioned interstellar travel, the Milky Way galaxy could be completely traversed in a few million years. Since many of the Sun-like stars are billions of years older than the Sun, the Earth should have already been visited by extraterrestrial civilizations, or at least their probes. However, there is no convincing evidence that this has happened. Enrico Fermi was a Nobel Prize-winning physicist who predicted the existence of neutrinos and helped create the first artificial nuclear reactor, an early feat of the Manhattan Project. He was known to pose simple but seemingly unanswerable questions, termed Fermi questions, to his colleagues and students, like how many atoms of Caesar's last breath do you inhale with each lungful of air? In 1950, Fermi visited Los Alamos National Laboratory in New Mexico, and while walking to the Fuller Lodge for lunch, conversed with fellow physicists Emil Konopinski, Edward Teller, and Herbert York about reports of flying saucers and the feasibility of faster-than-light travel. When the conversation shifted to unrelated topics at the lodge, Fermi blurted a question variously recalled as, "Where is everybody?" Teller, "Don't you ever wonder where everybody is?" York, "But where is everybody?" Konopinski. According to York, Fermi followed up with a series of calculations on the probability of Earth-like planets, the probability of life given on Earth, the probability of humans given life, the likely rise and duration of high technology, and so on. He concluded on the basis of such calculations that we ought to have been visited long ago and many times over. However, Teller recalled that Fermi did not elaborate on his question beyond perhaps a statement that the distances to the next location of living beings may be very great, and that, indeed, as far as our galaxy is concerned, we are living somewhere in the sticks, far removed from the metropolitan area of the galactic center. Fermi was not the first to note the paradox. In his 1686 book Conversations on the Plurality of Worlds, Bernard Le Bovier de Fontenelle, later the secretary of the French Academy of Sciences, constructs a dialogue in which Fontenelle's claims of intelligent beings exist in other worlds, for instance the moon, are refuted by a character who notes that if this were the case, the moon's inhabitants would already have come to us before now. This may have inspired a similar discussion in Jules Verne's 1865 novel Around the Moon, which has also been identified as an early conceptualization of the Fermi paradox. Another early formulation Fermi paradox was presented and dissected in the 1930s writings of Russian rocket scientist Konstantin Tsiolkovsky. Although his rocketry work was embraced by the materialist Soviets, his philosophical writings were suppressed and unknown for most of the 20th century. Tsiolkovsky noted that critics refute the existence of advanced extraterrestrial life, as such civilizations would have visited humanity or left some detectable evidence. He posed a solution to the paradox: humanity is quarantined by aliens to protect its independent cultural development, which resembles the zoo hypothesis proposed by John Ball. The Fermi question first appeared in print in a footnote of a 1963 paper by Carl Sagan. 2 years later, Stephen Dole noted the dilemma at a symposium: if there are so many advanced forms of life around, where is everybody? But did not attribute it to Fermi. A chapter of Intelligent Life in the Universe, co-authored by Sagan and Iosif Shklovsky, was headlined with the Fermi attributed "Where are they?" The Fermi question also appeared in NASA's 1970 Project Cyclops report, a 1973 book by Sagan, and a 1975 article in Jebus Interstellar Studies by David Buin that first described it as a paradox. Later that year, Michael Hart published a detailed examination of the paradox in the quarterly journal of the Royal Astronomical Society. Hart, who concluded that we are the first civilization in our galaxy, proposed 4 broad categories of solutions to the paradox. Those that are physical, a space travel limitation, sociological, aliens choose not to visit Earth, temporal, aliens have not had time to travel to Earth, or that extraterrestrials have already visited. His paper sparked significant interest in the paradox among academics and even politicians, with a discussion held in the House of Lords. A seminal response, "Extraterrestrial intelligent beings do not exist," was written by Frank Tipler, who argued that, if an advanced extraterrestrial civilization existed, their self-replicating spacecraft should have already been detected in the solar system. The term Fermi paradox was coined in a 1977 article by David Stephenson and was widely adopted. The popularization of the Fermi paradox damaged SETI efforts, and Senator William Proxmire cited Tipler when he spurred the termination of the federally funded NASA SETI program in 1981. According to Robert Gray, the paradox may contribute to a de facto prohibition on government support for research in a branch of astrobiology. Fermi did not publish anything regarding the paradox, with Sagan once suggesting the quote to be apocryphal. Scientists like Robert Gray have criticized its attribution to Fermi, and alternative terms like the Hart-Tipler argument or Tsiolkovsky-Fermi viewing Hart paradox have been proposed. According to Gray, the current understanding of the paradox misinterprets Fermi's question and subsequent discussion, which was challenging the feasibility of interstellar travel rather than the existence of advanced extraterrestrial life.